So we are talking about the action movie Security. This one is directed by Alan Dershowitz. That's definitely how you pronounce his name, and stars Antonio Banderas, Ben Kingsley, and Spartacus version 2, Liam McIntyre. So the story here essentially is Die Hard meets Home Alone in a mall. That's the basic way I can describe this film. So basically, Antonio Banderas' character is an ex-army captain who is struggling to find a job. So he has been out of work for a year, and he ends up taking a minimum wage job as a mall cop in this kind of large, kind of suburban shopping mall, basically in America somewhere. And he goes there, but it ends up being on his first night. He runs across this girl who is escaping from a kind of a bunch of criminals, and she is a key witness in a large kind of criminal trial. So it's like basically up to him and his small team of security guards to fend off a whole bunch of professional bad guys as they try and silence this girl before the feds show up. So it's almost like Die Hard, except you are trying to keep people out of the building, hence the kind of the Home Alone reference, and they're kind of all using all sorts of different traps and things that they find in the mall. So what do we think about Security? I've got to say, I remember when Die Hard first came out, and you had this rash of these sort of Die Hard clones, and yeah, you've kind of got London Has Fallen and Olympus Has Fallen, those sort of things, and they feel a little bit like that, but that seems to be a thing of the past. So it was kind of fun to watch one of these movies again, because some of them have been quite good, I will say. And I really liked Antonio Banderas here, because even when we kind of first see him in these kind of job office trying to get a job, you do feel for his character, because he seems like quite a guy who really has tried and struggled, and is just kind of really just will do literally anything just to try and get ends meet so he can kind of meet his daughter. So I really like that. I also really like Liam McIntyre here as one of the security guards, who is the kind of like thinks he's like kind of the bee's knees, and he's got this comedy haircut, which I thought was absolutely quite fun. And I like the way his character isn't one note. It would have been easy to make his character just this kind of typical kind of dickhead that ends up, you know, sort of meeting his demise, etc. But they've actually made his character somewhat layered, so he's kind of comes across as a bit of a dickhead, but at the same time he does have these kind of better qualities in him as well. So I really like that portrayal as well. And there are some sort of fun action sequences here that is, you know, it looks to be of a reasonable budget, and you know, obviously it's quite well shot. The action seems to be quite good. The production value of this large kind of army of bad guys all seems quite fun, if a little OTT. We'll come on to that in just a second. So I thought this was definitely a fun, I want to say B-movie Die Hard clone, but it's maybe, you know, it is maybe a higher budget than your straight to DVD stuff you may have seen. But there are negatives, of course. This is super cheesy. I mean, some of these films, these Die Hard clones, tend to be on the cheesy side. This one is really cheesy. I mean, it goes to the point of being corny. For example, the bad guys. I mean, I'm not really quite sure what their deal was. I mean, we're told that the girl is like a witness in some kind of like, you know, criminal dealings, but they appear to have a weird mixture of Satanists. There's like a guy in like Satanist robes. There's like a parkour guy who looks like he's got Mad Max armor on. It's the bizarre OTT bad guys, and they appear to be really dumb, kind of standing out in the open, waiting to get shot, stuff like that, and just being absolute cannon fodder. And I've got to say, Ben Kingsley is chewing the scenery as this kind of like asylum level UA Bowl style villain that he's been in these type of films, and that's kind of what he's doing here as well, with this kind of odd accent that he's got. I'm not quite sure where he's supposed to be. Sounds like Welsh to me, but yeah, just a bit of an odd choice there. So it comes across as a fun film, but really on the kind of cheesy side, and doesn't kind of elevate it, to be honest with you. So, and I've got to say, the little girl who was the witness wasn't the best actress either, I'm sad to say. So her lines tend to feel quite kind of, you know, a little bit difficult. And it's difficult when you have child actors. I know it's a kind of big ask, but there are There are good ones out there, but this one was sadly not on that. Now, I liked Antonio Banderas, and he wasn't a particularly... Well, there are scenes of it, but I didn't feel he was a complete one-man killing crew. I did feel like he didn't get everything done that he wanted to happen. I mean, there are some superhuman scenes. I'm a very minor spoiler here. He shoots someone with a pistol who is like a long way away, right in the right in the eyes. So that was a little bit. Come on, that's what I mean. It's fun, but really kind of cheesy. Don't be. I've seen this movie compared to the Bourne franchise. No way. Is that kind of a fair comparison, because the Bourne franchise is heightened admittedly, but it does have that kind of gritty realism. This one doesn't. Anyway, so this is more like I guess you'd call it maybe Under Siege more than anything else. Anyway, I'll give this movie a 6 out of 10. It was fun. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.